it's a pleasure to meet you. We're in Salem at the Capitol, actually. So just share with me your philosophy on
Oh,
homelessness.
you got to say theory.
Theory. What is your theory on homelessness?
Because all the smart women hate that men have theories now, so you got to say theory.
Okay.
But my theory on helping people and accidentally handicapping them. So, like we were talking about with social services and the homeless, sometimes they enable people so well to be homeless, it's easier than actually going and getting a job again and starting life. And that's what I'm talking about with how to help somebody but not handicap them, because the goal with these programs is to get people not to be homeless anymore. So how do you help the homeless with food stamps, job training, and get them to follow all the way through with it when it's really easy for them to crash or fall off the wagon and start using drugs again and fall back into the free system? And I've been studying that myself because I've been homeless twice in my life, and they've always helped me get back on my feet again.
And what cities, in your experience, you said you've been homeless in multiple
Atlanta,
cities.
Georgia,
Austin,
Texas,
which ones would
and Portland, Oregon.
What cities would you say have more handicapped the homeless?
Atlanta, Georgia has absolutely handicapped the homeless. And Austin, Texas, they give them food stamps, but there's no job training.
Okay.
So it doesn't really encourage them to get off the streets, and there's no shelters.
And what about Portland?
Portland, it doesn't look like they're doing a lot. You know what I mean? The police do a lot to not agitate the situation, but it doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of services for them. It looks like they're stuck with a whole bunch of angry people who used to be drug addicts that aren't changing. I was up there just 10 days ago on the bus. It's shocking.
Yep, it absolutely is. And what about here in Salem?
Well, there's no syringes on the ground here. I haven't found one syringe.
Yeah.
I don't find dope bags. There's not graffiti everywhere, and I'm not seeing people poop in the streets. And I was seeing that in Portland.
So they're a little stricter here in Salem?
Or the homeless are not quite as traumatized by being homeless, possibly, because Portland's a rough city.
Well, in Salem, this is the capital. This is the central government of the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
What do you think Oregon can do better to curb this crisis?
To not encourage people to be homeless so long, or to help them get back to their life somehow. But that's a toughie, because the way it was explained to me with the college kids that we have that are homeless, and then the car accident victims that are homeless, the one I told you that had obscenely bad concussions, and then the drug addicts, well, the car crash victims, that's the insurance companies. You know what I mean? They didn't put everyone back together and give them a full payment. The teachers and the students that were all fighting for tenure in college, that was childishness and safety. I want my secure job in college. I don't want to go out and work in the private sector.
Yeah.
And then the other group, the drug addicts, well, people use drugs for a whole bunch of reasons, from being raped to having a rough life to...
It's trauma.
Yeah.
So,
it's
but
a coping mechanism.
May I ask what your opinion is? Are you familiar with Measure 110?
No, I haven't.
This was Measure 110, the measure that decriminalized drug use in the state of Oregon.
I think it helped.
You think it helped?
No, I was an avid pot smoker for 20 years.
Well, and the reason why I ask is I have major concerns with it because you're aware of what fentanyl is.
Yes.
Deadliest drug I've ever seen in my life, and it was the perfect storm where we decriminalized drugs right when there was the rise in fentanyl.
Yeah.
And in Portland, it's zombie land down there. So that's my concern with the decriminalization is it's killing people.
I was actually sold marijuana with fentanyl in it. I had a really rough week.
Yeah, you overdosed, I'm assuming.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they found me hallucinating, talking to God in my backyard. Kept trying to bring me back into reality. And the only thing anyone could come up with is I had bought a laced bag of marijuana.
It's very common out here. Most drugs are now laced with fentanyl on the streets.
I found out that the people that I bought weed from in Austin, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, it was laced with methamphetamine and cocaine.
Wow.
They're going back through the evidence lockers and different police cases over the years, and we're finding that most of the Mexicans call it Malta, Americans call it marijuana, green bud, anywhere else. The police are finding this, that it's always been laced with some kind of control serum, some kind of extra something. Marijuana that was pushed on the streets in America when it was black market, it was never just marijuana. It was either laced with mercury, Epsom salt, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin. It's never just been straight up marijuana. So
interesting.
Legalizing marijuana was awesome because it freed us from laced marijuana. but then they come up with other ways or stronger narcotics.
Yeah. Well, and then very last question, and I'll let you be, is if you were in charge, well, first of all, I want to ask, how did this homeless crisis get so bad, and how would you fix it?
Economic decline.
Economic decline?
We've slowly been going this way for about 14 years.
Okay.
That's how it came to a head with homelessness and eviction, and it's going to get worse now because all the stuff that Governor Kate Brown put in, the moratorium on eviction for COVID, that's all being repealed now. So landlords can evict people who haven't paid rent, whether they lost their job with COVID or not. So the homeless problem is going to get a little bit worse coming up here. I am free from Klamath Falls because I was evicted from my house. I couldn't pay my rent the last year and a half or my power bill. Someone was paying it for me because of COVID. And because that ran out, I actually got evicted from my home.
Wow.
There's 6,098